Surprise guest joining us. Here's what you do. Go to TavisTalks.com. That's TavisTalks.com. Scan the QR code, click the registration link, and you're in. It's January 26th, 6 p.m. Pacific. I'm keeping this intimate. Don't miss it. I'll see you in class.
First things first.
Things first, it's the DU General, Money B. I'ma put you up on the schedule. 6 to 9, 8 weekdays, not too unsettled. Let's go. We got a lot to talk about, so much to pedal through. Unapologetically progressive. Tune to KBLA 1580 to get the mess. We're your ancestors' favorite radio station. First black on talk radio, left side of the nation. Me and Dominique the Prima go way back. Tag Smiley making sure the station stays black. Discussing all the issues in our community. We're hosted black and brown and others find unity. So let's talk about it. Maybe we can improve it. Digital underground, always down with the movement. So we tune in. The first things first with the queen of Black Talk Radio, Dominique the Prima. Go sis.
First things first.
KBLA Talk 1580. Good morning. Hello, what's up? God bless. I'm Dominique DePrima. The show is called First Things First, and my first thing is prayer every single day. Prayer, 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 giving thanks, asking for blessings, asking for the blessings of God Almighty, the ancestors, and the elders. And then what do? I get on this mic and I talk. And I invite you to do the same, right? I mean, this is first thing in the morning for most of us. I know some of y'all, like Miles, be getting up at the crack of dawn to go hit the gym before he comes in here. But look, it's not even the crack of dawn. It's still dark outside. We're here for you on a Think Tank Thursday. This is a day we've designated to put our collective minds together to solve problems or create solutions, proactive solutions for things that are presented to us in our communities, in our lives. And you are invited in to share your thoughts at 800-920-1580 every single day, every hour, 800-920-1580. That is the number. And you can also weigh in or just check out YouTube. We're at youtube.com. And then, of course, you put in KBLA 1580 and you can see the stream. We should live stream every day. We're also streaming on Facebook, and I'm thinking maybe I should start streaming on my Instagram more, or TikTok. I don't know. What do you guys think? You can make a comment, weigh in on that in the comments section at YouTube, or you can hit me up on any of my social media, which is DePrima Radio, DIPRIMA, and then radio. See, I'm trying to talk slower. DIPRIMA, and then radio. Or you can find us at KBLA 1580 on every single platform. And we do look at our DMs and all that stuff. So this is a great way to communicate. If you want to comment, you have an idea for a guest you'd like to see, you loved or hated something any of us said, or if you have an idea for a show topic, all of that is good. You're also allowed to complain if you want to. So, yeah, there is so much going on today. The way we do things on a Think Tank Thursday. Hour 1, we look local. Hour 2, we go national, international, and beyond. And in the third hour, we do a deep dive. And we are on task and on point today. I wanted to point out to you, because some go in and out if you're at your job or something and you can't stay on the whole time. Definitely want to tap in for hour 2, when we'll be talking with the Honorable Fravia Marquez, who is a spokesperson for Cumbe, which is the voice of the Afro-Latino population in Venezuela, and get a look at how the U.S. actions there are impacting the country as a whole, but specifically Black Venezuelans. So we will do that, and you definitely do not want to miss that. Wow. So we can't apparently have nice things, right? California can't have nice things. The LAUSD is being sued again by people that don't live in LA. The suit was filed in Central California to make things really what it is. They're saying that the LAUSD discriminates against white students, but really what it is targeting Black and Latino students and trying to make their education worse. And it doesn't take a lot to figure out that this is BS, but, we overthink things. And so, I think that was one of the really powerful points that Dr. Philip Solomon made on Monday on this show, is that many times we make it complicated. We want to say, oh, this is such a complex situation, and really it's not that complex. And this is one of those. The LAUSD has a system where they put more resources into the districts that have greater need. Really common sense, right? If a school is falling apart, the bathrooms don't work, the paint is cracked, there's no greenery or shade for the children, which is the state of many campuses, they're going to put more resources over there. If a school has students who are struggling, they're not doing well on standardized tests, they're not showing improvement, they're not reading well or at all, they put more money over there. That is common sense. That is what any person does in their household budget. If the car is broke down, we spend the money on the car, not the refrigerator. The refrigerator's working great. The car's broke down, we spend money on the car, right? That seems super logical. Anyone who's ever run their own household, even if it's a household of one, knows that. You put the resources where the problem is. You fix the problem. Well, this lawsuit claims that the LAUSD system discriminates against white students by putting more money at schools where more of the students are non-white. What that should actually tell you is that the schools where most Black kids and Latino kids go are the most jacked up. They need the help because there is no racial formula in LAUSD. The formula is, where is the need? And because the need happens to overlap with Black people, Latino people, that they're trying to conflate it and say that it's racial discrimination. And the thing about it is that in reality, if you look at the LA Unified School District, and now I'm talking as a parent, speaking as a parent who has, my kid did not go to a public school in LAUSD, but it's not because I didn't do all the research, look into all the schools that could best deal with my kid. And also, besides being a mom, as a radio personality, I have spoken at many, many schools, done charitable efforts to try to uplift those schools, and, career days, this, that, and the other. What I got to see is the vast difference between a public school in, say, Palos Verdes compared to a public school in Watts, right? Those are both LA. But the outcomes are very, very different. And I did deep dives because I was trying to see where I can put my kid or what I can recommend for other children I know. And I would see schools that are thriving and doing really well. Palos Verdes is a great example. Those schools, their scores are through the roof. The school campuses are pristine. They look beautiful. Bathrooms work. Plenty of shade and greenery. Those schools are mostly white. Now, a lot of in Palos Verdes, you also have some that have huge Asian populations. Well, why are they doing better? Is it because we love white people or Asian people more? I mean, we could make that inference, but it's because of the way that wealthier districts supplement the schools, and because of the way our tax system breaks down, which advantages richer school districts. And this is across the board. You go to places where Black and Latinos go to school, they look run down. You can't believe it's the same school district in some cases. It would break my heart time and time again when I would go and do a career day. How come these guys have this fabulous library over here on the west side, but when I go to, even Westchester, but when I go to schools which it's mostly black and brown kids, your Dorseys, your Crenshaws, they don't have those fabulous resources. Now they have some. I don't want to downgrade those schools. They have some. They certainly have done. There are plenty of community activists that have tried and put in great programs, right? And then there's the magnet schools, which is part of this lawsuit, apparently, which has been brought by the 1776 Project and filed in the Central District of California. Well, if you're so worried about LAUSD, why don't you file it here? Ha! It's because I believe they think they can get a more sympathetic outcome in somewhere far away from the place that they're actually suing. Well, if you look at the school's the magnet program, you go through the choices application, and if you're looking for a school for your kid, that's something to know about. The choices application, where you can sign up for a school outside your district. Their magnet programs, they're specialty kinds of things. They're highly gifted or focused on science, focused on immersion in maybe another language. There's really great programs, and a lot of them fill up. So it's on a application basis. It's a lottery, but it's a weighted lottery. So if you keep applying, and then you get points for each year you applied that you didn't get in somewhere. You get points if you're in a terrible district that has bad test scores. Not because you're black or Latino, but because your schools are struggling. You get points based on, all of these factors. And then there's this weighted lottery, and then you get to see whether you get in one of these schools. I was in that choices system for several years and never got into any of the schools, even though we're black. Imagine that. Well, think about this. If a school is trying to create ethnic balance in that particular program, institution, or even district, they're going to give priority to those students that balance it out. Let's say, for example, you have a school that's mostly white and they want to get more black or Latino students, they might bring in those students. But since our district is mostly black and brown, the kids that get more of an advantage in that system are often the white kids, right? If I'm trying to get into some top performing science magnet and most of the kids are black and Latino and I'm white, I'm going to get in because they're trying to balance it out. So this is actually, in some cases, just the opposite of what happens. And the reason I say, why can't we have nice things? It's just like the Black Student Achievement Program, which black students and others fought for and won to take money away from school police who don't make campuses safer. And I'm speaking data, not my personal opinion there. They don't make campuses safer for black or Latino kids. Then, they took the money from there because of the activism of LA Students Deserve, an organization made up of students at our schools. And they put it into something called the Black Student Achievement Program. Then these same type individuals, white folks who are on their crybaby stuff right now and trying to use civil rights principles to take away civil rights from black people and Latino people, they threatened the district and the district caved. Thank goodness for the teachers union. The program continues to serve black students. They changed the name. They made it all students matter, which we know they all matter. But again, if your car is broken, you don't fix the refrigerator. So here we go again with this. It's really not just individual organizations and parental Karens. It is the philosophy of this administration to use the tools and concepts of civil rights and the civil rights movement to take things away from black students, black people, black entrepreneurs, and Latinos, and to pit us against the so-called model minorities so they can try to look like they're not racist while they do it. You're welcome to weigh in on this or any other things that are on your mind this morning at 800-920-1580, 800-920-1580. I'm Dominique DePrima, and this right here is KBLA Talk 1580.
She's reclaiming her time on KBLA Talk 1580. More First Things First with Dominique DePrima when we come forward.
Are you drowning in IRS tax debt? Angela was. She called Civic Tax Relief and saved over $80,000. Felicia was having health problems, got behind on her taxes, interest and penalties were adding up. She called Civic Tax Relief and saved over $15,000. Civic Tax Relief is a professional tax negotiation firm that can protect you from the IRS. If you're getting collection letters, call Civic Tax Relief for a free consultation. They will go to work helping you discover all the relief programs you may qualify for free. James owed the IRS $37,000. Civic Tax Relief represented him against the IRS, and by the time everything was completed, he did not owe the IRS anything. If you are in trouble with the IRS, call Civic Tax Relief for your free consultation now. 800-200-2257. 800-200-2257. Get a free consultation and real tax relief. Call 800-200-2257. 800-200-2257.
Hi, I'm Tavish Smiley. You may have heard me talk about the new course I'm teaching, The Art of Conversation. Well, it's here, and I'm holding a live free preview session on January 26th at 6 p.m. Pacific. Here's why this matters. For almost 40 years, I've made my living having conversations that count. Presidents, activists, artists, people who've changed the world. And I've learned something in the process. Most folk have no idea how to ask a real question, how to listen, how to create a moment. Whether you're building a business, leading a team, hosting a podcast, or just want to connect better, this changes how you show up. It's free, it's live, and I might have a surprise guest joining us. Here's what you do. Go to TavishTalks.com. That's TavishTalks.com. Scan the QR code, click the registration link, and you're in. It's January 26th, 6 p.m. Pacific. I'm keeping this intimate. Don't miss it. I'll see you in class.
They call it progress, but progress has a price. Land once held in black hands, taken, stolen, erased. Acres paved into highways, fields burned. Homes replaced by parking lots and broken promises. Every deed lost was a dream deferred. We talk about millionaires, but what about the millionaires that never were? The farmers whose soil was seized, the families who watched their inheritance disappear, the wealth that never had a chance to grow because its roots were ripped from the ground. They took the land, but never the legacy, because the soil remembers, and so do we. Every story matters. Our mission is to collect, preserve, and amplify these stories. If this is part of your family's history, visit blacklandlost.org/share your story and help bring us closer to justice.
Your ancestors' favorite radio station, and your favorite morning show host. Let's get back to Dominique DePrima right now.
Here's a little palate cleanser for you this morning with some breaking news. Sinners has been nominated for 16 Academy Awards. What you know about that? Now, I find that extremely interesting considering you've heard me complaining on this very microphone that the Golden Globes and other awards shows have snubbed Sinners. And I thought it was because of the content of the film, the fact that it's very, what they like to call racially charged, or if you put it in my words, truth telling. In any case, it's got 16 nominees. That tops the previous record of 14 nominations, which was held by a movie, All About Eve, which is way back, which is actually a great movie. It's in black and white. Titanic and La La Land. Now, All About Eve and Titanic won Best Picture. I mean, I guess if you got 16 nominations, that's an indication that you may be worthy of Best Picture. But according to the Academy, and I know, we don't need validation from the white gays, blah, blah. I get all that. But I also know that these awards, and I also know there's something called the Oscar curse. So a Hilary Swank or a Monique can win an Oscar and then never work again or hardly work again. I get all of that. But I also know there is money and prestige attached to these awards that helps the actors, the directors, the producers get things done. So I consider this good news. And you know what I'm going to be doing? I'm going to watch it. So maybe that's what it was. Maybe they saw the incredible box office overlapping with the artistry, overlapping with the fact that the Oscars is losing viewers. No one wants to watch that crap, right? And, they can make Will slap somebody. They can, do all this sort of Instagram spectacle to try to get it more popular, and it's not working. Well, nominating a film that made all this money worldwide and which has not just black people, but Asians featured prominently in important roles, well, it's a good business decision. But even if that's the reason, I don't care. Congratulations to Michael B. Jordan, who is nominated for Best Actor. What? I love that so much for him after he got snubbed by all the Golden Globes, which we know is pretty much just a promotional hustle. Anyway, I mean, I guess all these award shows are promotional hustles to an extent, but the Golden Globes really is, right? The Foreign Press Association, remember, they got in all that trouble because they have no black people that are on their judging group of critics, and a lot of those folks are blatantly racist. Well, 16 is great. Congratulations to Sinners and Ryan Coogler and Zinzi Coogler, his wife, who's also a producer on the film, and everyone who was nominated. And this should be quite an interesting. Now, I'm looking at Variety, and again, Variety and a lot of the Hollywood press has been either dismissive or openly hostile to Sinners. And we know it's partly because of the deal that Michael B. Jordan made, not Michael B. Jordan, Ryan Coogler made, where after 25 years, I think it is, he gets full and complete ownership of that film. That might not seem like much to you, but it is a big deal. We're talking millions and millions and millions of dollars. It's a deal that most filmmakers do not get in their wildest dreams. And so I think there was an element of the Oscars trying to not the Oscars, the industry trying to tamp that down. I'm surprised the Oscars, the Academy, which we know has gotten somewhat more diverse in the past 10 years, I'm surprised they didn't follow suit. But you can see it in the little attitude that this story in Variety has. And I think that, first of all, they congratulate Warner Brothers. That's the first thing they say. Oh, it's a remarkable turnaround for Warner's. Okay, we can credit that to your industry slant. But it gets worse further on down the article. It says, Best Actor will be a contest between Timothée Chalamet of Marty Supreme and One Battle After Another's Leonardo DiCaprio, one of Hollywood's few consistent box office draws. And then it says, other nominees include Michael B. Jordan, Ethan Hawke, and Wagner Moura. Well, how do you know the contest is between Timothée Chalamet and Leonardo DiCaprio? You just going to name these two white men as the front runners and say other nominees include? Really? Why isn't it a contest between Leonardo DiCaprio and Michael B. Jordan? Or if we want to go strictly box office, Michael B. Jordan and Timothy Chalamet. Why isn't that? That's what I talk about. When I talk about reading between the headlines and sniffing out the bias in mainstream media, that's what I'm talking about. They didn't have to write it like that. They could have said Best Actor is going to be an exciting category with great performances from. No, they're saying it's a contest between these two and everyone else is just window dressing. Interesting. Interesting. And Delroy Lindo, again, same thing. They put him, as an also ran. But Delroy Lindo is going to be hard to beat, I think, in the Best Supporting Actor category. Of course, I haven't seen Frankenstein, and I have not seen Mystic. What else is he up against? Frankenstein, and then Benicio del Toro and Sean Penn. They've both won it before, which does make them, maybe favorites. I don't know. But it's the way they write it. Teyana Taylor with an Oscar nod for One Battle After Another. Amazing. And Wunmi Mosaku from Sinners, the one who plays the wife of Michael B. Jordan, the healer, if you will, conjure woman. She is also nominated. So, I mean, this is a ground-shaking earthquake of news for Hollywood right now. Hollywood is spinning out, crashing out, and freaking out right now, and I'm here for it. I love that so much for us. I think it's funny. Well, I shouldn't say funny. Interesting that they didn't give any love to Wicked, or Wicked for Good, I guess, the sequel. But maybe that's not surprising because sequels, it's hard to get the kind of love that you get from the original picture. But congratulations to Ryan Coogler, Michael B. Jordan, and everyone on the team for Sinners. This is going to be interesting. We've got news, traffic, and sports, and more on KBLA Talk 1580.
More of First Things First with Dominique DePrima when we come forward.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. A man armed with a knife was shot and killed in Aurora, Illinois after barricading himself inside a home.
He displayed a knife and shots were fired by Aurora police officers, hitting the male at least one time.
He was taken to a hospital and pronounced dead. The Fox Valley Major Crimes Task Force is now investigating the officer's actions. Illinois is investigating whether a Chicago landlord tipped off ICE before September raid. State officials filed a housing discrimination charge alleging the owner targeted Venezuelan immigrants and tried to push out Black and Hispanic tenants. Agents were accused of forcibly entering units and detaining residents for hours. And some of Tupac Shakur's earliest recordings are now up for auction. Wax Poetics is selling tapes from producer G-Ology's collection, captured around 1988, along with handwritten lyrics and photos. Bidding is open through February 11th. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Got issues with youth or high school sports? Positive Coaching Alliance can help. PCA, a national nonprofit, offers more than 1,000 free online resources for youth and high school sports coaches, parents, students, and administrators. Visit PCADevZone.org.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
Sunday's NFC Championship game between the Rams and Seattle sets up an interesting situation for Rams wide receiver Davante Adams. This will be the fifth time Adams, a 12-year veteran, is playing in the NFC title game. He's still looking for his first win. Adams was 0-4 in NFC title games during his 8-year career with the Green Bay Packers. A Rams win Sunday sends the 33-year-old Adams to his first Super Bowl. The Rams are 2.5-point underdogs. The Lakers and Clippers meet up tonight at the Intuit in Inglewood, third game this season between LA's NBA teams. The UCLA women's basketball team, ranked third in the country, had a practice game last night at Pauley Pavilion. They had an easy time with Purdue, 96-48. Forward Gabriela Jaquez led the Bruins with 25 points and 3 steals. The Bruins are 18-1, 8-0 in the Big Ten Conference. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with the world. African Focus Incorporated is a community-based organization whose mission is to bring Africans and African Americans together, lead charitable initiatives on the motherland, and educate people from all walks of life on the beauty, legacy, and opportunity of Africa's 54 nations. And it's that time once again when African Focus is teaming up with KBLA Talk 1580 for our 8th annual African Focus Trailblazers Tour. Travel with us in 2026 when we're headed to the southern African nations of Zambia and Botswana for a historical, cultural, and vacation tour led by me, Dominique DePrima, Cultural Ambassador for African Focus Incorporated. Enjoy luxurious accommodations, conscious fellow travelers, shopping, adventures, cultural tours, wildlife safaris, and a giant waterfall, one of the world's 7 wonders, along with a chance to be of service at an orphanage on the continent. Become an AFI trailblazer by exploring the motherland with a nonprofit organization that has members in Africa and America to help roll out the red carpet for you, and together we'll make a difference and have fun doing it. For more information, visit africanfocus.org or call 310-676-7300. That's 310-676-7300 or africanfocus.org. Whether it's stateside or exploring the diaspora, we're with you every step of the way. African Focus and KBLA Talk 1580. Come go with us.
Hey, KBLA delegation, you know what's better than laughing? Laughing while celebrating the legends who made us laugh in the first place. KBLA Talk 1580 is proud to present our annual Black History Month luncheon. And this year, we're honoring comedy greats, trailblazers who broke barriers, and funny bones at the same time.
You had to grow up early when we was growing up because your parents were sent to the store to buy. You was too young to buy. I want you to go to the store, get me a 5th of gin and a pack of cigarettes. Mama, I'm 2, they ain't gonna let me have that. Here, take this note. You be a little boy walking down the street with liquor and cigarettes, and your neighbors be going, that's a good little boy right there.
We need a little levity right about now, so we're rolling out the red carpet for comedy royalty. D.L. Hughley, Melanie Camacho, Earthquake, Lunel, Dion Cole, Martin Lawrence, and a surprise guest appearance. It's going up Thursday, February 26th in downtown LA at the Grammy Museum. An unforgettable afternoon of stories, celebration, and yes, plenty of laughs, because let's be real, these legends don't just tell jokes. They have changed the game, opened doors, and made history while making us smile.
You gotta go to child support court. You gotta get there real early in the morning. You see brothers going into court. You see them come out 3 hours later. I can't pay this. Let me talk to you, baby. Please, let me talk to the witness, Your Honor. Let me talk to the witness. Brother be working for 3 weeks, get his check is $43.
This year, for the first time ever, we have set aside a limited number of individual tickets for the luncheon. They are going to go fast, and when they're gone, they're gone. So, if you want a single ticket, or if your company or organization wants to sponsor a table, move swiftly and get to KBLA1580.com right now. All these comedy giants in one room, on one stage, at the same time? Stop it! This event is going to sell out quicker than right now, and sooner than at once. KBLA Talk 1580's annual Black History Month luncheon, Thursday, February 26th at the Grammy Museum. It's gonna be legendary, just like them.
What's up? What's up?
What's up? You got to laugh the pain away.
Thanks for waking up with Dominique DePrima on KBLA Talk 1580.
Something I've been wanting to tell you for a long time. It might hurt you. Hope you don't lose your mind. Well, I was just a boy, about 8 years old. You threw me a Bible on that Mississippi road. See, I love you, Papa. You did all you could do. And they say the truth hurts, so I lied to you. Yes, I lied to you. I love the blues.
Best Picture, Best Director, Best Supporting Actor, Best Actor. Best original screenplay, Sinners. Yeah, and I'm not done yet. Production design, costume design, cinematography, editing, makeup and hairstyling, sound, visual effects. Oh, Sinners. Original score, and what? You can turn that up. Original song. I lied to you. They killed the game, and I'm here for it. I really, really am. 16 is a record. Congratulations, especially going out to Ryan Coogler, that Best Director category. We've seen, I don't know that he'll win because we've seen people snubbed, black people snubbed again and again and again in that category. Spike Lee definitely should have won for Malcolm X, and that list is long, right? But I'm glad they're getting the note. And somebody said, I'm trying to find who said it in the chat. Somebody said it reminds them of The Color Purple. It reminds me of many times when people, they get nominated and then we turn around and they disappoint. And we'll see. We don't know. But what we do know, to me, it makes all of our point that the Golden Globes and others who have passed over Sinners may have had other reasons for doing so other than the quality of the piece itself. I think it solidifies that point. And good. And it's going to make another surge of people go watch it. So good. The Slate, the publication called Slate, is calling this a racial battle. That the battle between Sinners and the movie one battle after another. I would have put Marty Supreme in there, but they say it's contentious racial politics, and that is that it's becoming unhinged. Well, this is America. Becoming unhinged? No, you're paying attention this time. Our conversation about the treatment of black art by mainstream award shows, particularly the Oscars, has been unhinged since I was a child, okay? I remember this well. It's just changing because we have more contenders. Let's go to Jeanette calling us from L.A. Good morning, Jeanette.
Good morning, Dominique. Thank you so much for taking my call. I have three things that I wanted to say. First, this thing about DEI, we're living in it right now. And what I see is like the billionaires taking over America, and white people are losing their white privileges and becoming poorer and sicker daily. And I know some of them see it and others are ignoring it, but I think they're going to feel it even more, maybe to the point where, the same as we as black people have felt it for so many years. And I also see that this president who has a love of money, which, as the Bible says, is the root of all evil, the love of it is. And I really see him as an evil person. I see him and the things that he's doing as evil. So that's what happens when you're living in a world of people without DEI. So that's what I want to say about that.
Okay, before you move on to your other topics, I mean, I think that white people still have white privilege, but I feel like you're taking that from the data that show that particularly white men are struggling in terms of mental health. Right, we see suicide going up, the drug addiction, and health impacts from stress. So that is a new problem. Those are newer problems for them, which could be creating this victim mentality. I think it's premature to say white privilege is gone, though. And as far as Trump being evil, he's an evil doer. I mean, we can argue about whether he's El Diablo himself or whether he is just a lesser demon, or if he's just an evil doer. But it is not disputable that he is doing evil, so therefore he is an evil doer. People, I try not to name call, but when it walks like a devil and it talks like a devil, I'm just saying, we do the Diablo math on that. Point 2.
Okay, point 2. Our words do have power, and it can bring life or death to you. For example, when Trump was saying "Make America Great Again," he had in his mind what it was that making America great again was, and I think that we're seeing part of that as well. And when I say that, I mean he keeps saying that he deserves a Nobel Peace Prize. Well, he kept on talking it up until he got one.
The only way he could, which was
legitimate way.
Right, he got He got a fake Nobel Peace Prize because he didn't want to do the work that it would take to actually get one. Yeah. Yeah.
And then for me, words again, the Department of Defense to the Department of War. When I first heard that, I was like, "Oh no, that's war." And that's what you want this department to become. And then when I look and see what's happening in Minnesota, California, other states, and also with what they're saying about Greenland.
You mean Iceland, surely, Jeanette. You must mean
Yes.
Iceland, which is which is
Iceland.
run by the British as opposed to Greenland, which is run by the Danish. Like, hello.
Right.
Anyway, yeah.
And that's so funny because that brings me to my third point. I think that whenever he says something that's strange, off, he messes up or whatever, we should keep calling that out. Because with this thing with saying Iceland instead of Greenland, it's still funny to me. It makes me look at him and say, how dare you say the things that you used to say about Biden? And then I'm in agreement with some of the people who say 25th Amendment. And I just keep on thinking that, should we say, is that a 25th Amendment offense? So
Just keep that's a great talking point for a Think Tank Thursday. Is that a 25th Amendment trigger? Which, of course, the 25th Amendment, it's not an amendment. My brain is freezing here. But what you're talking about is a clause that allows the removal of the president because he's incompetent. So I don't know why I'm having a brain freeze about that, but I know what you're talking about. It is Section 4. That's what it is of the 25th Amendment. So you're right. It is the 25th Amendment, but it's not. It's Section 4 of that amendment. Yeah. So that's why my brain.
See, I'm just saying what others say, and that's not a good thing to do. I should have did my.
No, you were correct. I was just having a brain freeze. But I mean, the likelihood that Congress would take him out is very tiny. Republicans still control the House and the Senate, so we can fantasize about that. And then you also would get J.D. Vance, which ain't great,
Yeah, but we can handle him.
Yeah, that's true. He doesn't have the. I was going to say gravitas, but that's really doesn't apply to Trump. He doesn't have the cult-like following of Trump, so he would be less dangerous in that sense, I think.
Also, the people who consider themselves as superior will continue to say things about his wife. So I think it would really shut him down.
His wife, even though she's with child?
Even though.
That is crazy to me. I mean, not that it's crazy to have a child. Babies are blessings. Babies bring blessings. But you're under attack by all these white supremacists for being the wife of a white supremacist while being a brown woman. And he has that, he is like Trump. What Trump said about Barron, Melania has a child, like it wasn't his kid. And that's how J.D. Vance talks about Usha and his babies. Yes. She has children. No, so I don't know. And then there's people speculating that she's trying to lock down her man since she's got the Erica Kirk threat on the horizon. I don't know, but I also think it would be very, very stressful to be pregnant while being the second lady. I mean, it's stressful to be pregnant while doing nothing. I can imagine that being a first or second lady with all eyes on you. Wow, that's a tough one. I'd use it as an excuse to go like home to my parents and go away from him or something. I don't know. Anyway, great points. Always fun to talk to you, Jeanette. Thank you for calling.
Bye-bye.
Yeah. 800-920-1580. That's the number that Jeanette called. I know I'm excited about Sinners getting all these nominations. I do not want to skip over other important things of note. A federal agent yesterday in LA fired a weapon at someone in LA. Here was Compton. These folks are out of control. Also, they arrested a 5-year-old. That was not in LA, but it just shows you where these folks are in their sense of propriety, of normalcy. This is in Minnesota. They got a 5-year-old and detained the child, clearly a criminal threat, with his some kind of Pokemon hat or something on and a Spidey backpack. That makes my blood boil. And then you just out here firing on people. That was in Compton. I guess no one was injured. They claim the guy was a human smuggler. So I guess the fact that they're just hiring any old people, any old white supremacist, has its upside, which is the guy couldn't shoot. But the downside is they're just firing on people. And what we know is that a lot of the time, these people that they're harassing, detaining, throwing to the ground, beating up, and even killing are United States citizens. Say his name. Kieth Porter Jr., say his name. And you know what? Here's a little message for our Think Tank Thursday. If you're scrolling on social media, I don't care if it's Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, the evil X, wherever you're scrolling, and you see people talking about a U.S. citizen was killed by ICE, and they're talking about Renee Good, which deserves to be talked about, comment hashtag Kieth Porter Jr., say his name, because a lot of these mainstream publications are talking about and saying that one U.S. citizen has been killed by ICE, as if the killing of a black man by Brian Palacios, an off-duty, allegedly by Brian Palacios, an off-duty ICE agent, then are you saying his life doesn't matter? Say his name, Kieth Porter Jr. I would love for us, the KBLA delegation, to do comments. Every single Be Good post, every single one U.S. citizen murdered by ICE. I've been doing it myself. I would love for you guys to join me. We'll keep this conversation going when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
Say the quiet part out loud. KBLA Talk 1580. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. LA County's new Justice Care and Opportunities Department, or JCOD, is here to support justice-involved individuals and their families. The JCOD Support Center is now taking calls at 1-833-LACJCOD. That's 1-833-522-5263. Available 7 days a week from 6 a.m. to 11 p.m., the Support Center is your one-stop shop for re-entry issues and court support. They offer court reminders, connections to local services, transportation assistance for housing, court appearances, and childcare. The JCOD hotline provides personalized help to connect you with services that you need. And don't forget to check out justiceconnect.org for more information. Remember, it's free and available every day at 1-833-522-5263. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
We ask seniors how to prevent Medicare scams. My best advice, if you get a phone call, do not talk to the person. These people are well-trained. Don't talk to them.
They don't know me. They're just trying to scam me.
Don't be fooled. Hang up. Just hang up.
Never give out your Medicare number.
They're going to get your number to put in a false claim.
If I get a call from someone, I don't pick up the phone, and should I pick up the phone and they ask for information, then I hang up.
How do you detect Medicare fraud?
Just like I check my credit card statements, I check my Medicare statements monthly.
Scammers can get a hold of your number, order medical devices through your account, and you're not even going to know about it if you don't look at your statement.
Check your statement every month.
If you get your statement and you see something that you know you did not have done, you report it.
Call your senior Medicare Patrol.
To report Medicare fraud, call the Senior Medicare Patrol at 855-613-7080.
Broadcasting live from Leimert Park, USA. Welcome back to your home for unapologetically progressive radio, KBLA Talk 1580.
Oh my goodness. They have arrested a firefighter in Glendale and booked him for murder, the murder of his own wife. This guy had been with the Glendale Fire Department since 2008, and he was off duty at the time of his arrest by LAPD. Apparently, he allegedly beat his wife to death and then asked for a welfare check on his wife, reported it himself. Myra Jimenez is her name. Andrew Jimenez is her husband, and that's the one who reported this crime. They arrested him. They immediately put him on leave, administrative leave from the fire department, and he is being held on $2 million bail. Witnesses said that they overheard cops talking, saying she was beaten very badly. Allegedly, there is a diary at the scene that might have divulged that he found out she was having an affair moments before attacking her. There was an axe found at the scene. Really horrible story, and condolences to her family, her loved ones, and all of that. And this is an example of what's supposed to happen when an off-duty official kills a person, right? It does have echoes of Kieth Porter Jr., in that Kieth Porter Jr. was allegedly killed by his neighbor, an off-duty ICE officer. The reason that we found out the guy's name, Brian Palacios, is because of a domestic violence issue with his former partner, where he was being kept away from the child or children of his current girlfriend because of the violence he perpetuated on his own kids. And yet this man has not been arrested, and he actually murdered Kieth Porter Jr. It was a premeditated murder because apparently this guy Palacios, who lives in that building, went out and saw Kieth Porter Jr. had shot a shot in the air in a parking lot with no one around to celebrate New Year's Eve, told him to stop. Porter said something, probably mind your business, and then the guy goes back in, puts on full tactical gear, comes out, and shoots Kieth Porter, his neighbor, dead. Why isn't he under arrest? You don't get to just go and kill your neighbor. That's not what you get to do. That's not legal. Why isn't he on an administrative leave? Why isn't he being held on $2 million bail? I think we know the answer to that. I really, really do. Not only is there no check, no oversight, no supervision of these Wild West white supremacist private army Trump Gestapo, but the fact that he killed a black man is clearly part of it. This guy's an American citizen. He lives in that building. They need to treat him the same way they're treating Mr. Jimenez. Let's go to Barbara calling us from Orange County. Good morning, Barbara.
Good morning, Dominique. I want to go back to the school system.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay. Here's my thing about schools. There are so many, grants and stuff for school programs and everything. And a lot of times when I talk to folks at the schools, they don't look them up. They're not interested. It's nonchalant. And I also remember I used to call Compton when it was at least 50% black. I would call the library and the school administrator. I wanted to donate Black Enterprise and Black Collegiate to the library, 30 each. I couldn't get them to budge, couldn't get them to call me back, anything, okay? Black Collegiate reading. And then there's Carver Elementary in Fresno that it's predominantly Hispanic now, so they changed the name. But there's another school that's still predominantly black. I called the principal, and I called the principal's assistant. I used to be a bookseller, so I wanted to donate some books like this, The Storm Warriors by Elsa Carbone. It's a children's book. The Storm Warriors are now the Coast Guard. This was based on a true story about a 9-year-old saving a little boy from hypothermia, and I guess that's how it was all discovered in the early 1900s. Clinton gave that unit a posthumously Medal of Valor. Okay, this all-black unit went off and rescued a whole ship full of people coming from Sweden.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I understand what you're saying. I do think it's a little unfair to say they're nonchalant about grants, though, because the schools and institutions that pursue those grants have grant writers. They have people who have time to research and write those grants. Most of the staff and faculty teachers at our schools, are already doing 2 and 3 people's jobs.
Okay, that's fair enough.
I mean, I'm not trying to make excuses, and I wish more would, but I also think that's a resource problem as well. With Steve Harvey, we donated books to schools, and I personally do it. I usually go right to the librarian if they have one, or to an English teacher, or I show up at the school. And I've been successful in donating books to various public schools. But it is frustrating that there's not more enthusiasm, I guess you could say, and more creativity in stretching the resources that are available. Barbara, I appreciate the call, and I really, 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 really appreciate your activism in making a difference, at least trying to make a difference where you see a deficit. We've got news, traffic, and sports, and then we'll be talking with a powerful representative of the Afro-Venezuelan folks. This is something that you do not want to miss. The Honorable Flavia Marquez is next on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. A man armed with a knife was shot and killed in Aurora, Illinois after barricading himself inside a home.
He displayed a knife and shots were fired by Aurora police officers, hitting the male at least one time.
He was taken to a hospital and pronounced dead. The Fox Valley Major Crimes Task, their Chicago landlord, tipped off ICE before September raid. State officials filed a housing